requesting our guest of honor, Shri Gudiva Amarnath Ji, Honorable Minister of Industries, Infrastructure, IT and Electronics, Government of Andhra Pradesh. We welcome Shri Arun Baroka Ji, Secretary, Chemicals and Petrochemicals, Ministry of Chemicals and Fertilizers, Government of India. We welcome Mr. Nikhil Meswani, Executive Director, Reliance Industries Limited. We welcome Dr. Detlef Kratz, President Group Research, BASF. We welcome Mr. Deepak C. Mehta, Chairman FICCI National Chemical Committee and Chairman and Managing Director, Deepak Nitrite Limited. We welcome Mr. Prab Das, Chairman FICCI Petrochemicals Committee. Ladies and gentlemen, once again requesting everybody to be seated. Can we request for order inside the hall? Please, no movement as far as possible. Kindly restrict the movements. Exit doors to be closed, please. Thank you. Namaskar and good afternoon. Honorable Chief Guest, Dr. Mansukh Mandaviya Ji, Honorable Union Minister, Chemicals and Fertilizers and Health and Family Welfare, Government of India. Guest of honor, Shri Bhagwant Khooba Ji, Honorable Minister of State, Ministry of Chemicals and Fertilizers, Honorable Minister of State, Ministry of New and Renewable Energy, Government of India. Shri Gudivada Amarnath Ji, Honorable Minister of Industries, Infrastructure, IT and Electronics, Government of Andhra Pradesh. Eminent dignitaries on the stage, special invitees, senior government officials, distinguished delegates both from abroad and India, respected members of the press and media, ladies and gentlemen, I have the proud privilege today in welcoming you all to the inaugural session of India Chem 2022, the 12th Biennial International Exhibition and Conference on the theme Vision 2030, Chemicals and Petrochemicals Build India, which is being jointly organized by Department of Chemicals and Petrochemicals, Ministry of Chemicals and Fertilizers, Government of India, Department for Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade, Government of India, and FICCI, the Federation of Indian Chamber of Commerce and Industry. And ladies and gentlemen, IndoChem 2022 will showcase tremendous potential and supportive government policy for sustainable growth in the sector, and will be a single platform for investors, both domestic and international, and other stakeholders to interact and forge alliances, thereby providing immense potential for trade and investment in a mutually beneficial way. And ladies and gentlemen, as is customary in our country, we begin every auspicious occasion by lighting the ceremonial lamp and invoking the gods and goddesses, seeking their blessings to guide us for the success of our endeavors. I now have the privilege in requesting our Honorable Chief Guest and other distinguished dignitaries on the stage to kindly light the ceremonial lamp and formally inaugurate the conference India Chem 2022. And let's put our hands together on the ceremonial inauguration of India Chem 2022. Thank you. Thank you very much indeed, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, the august presence of the honorable ministers and eminent dignitaries is a source of inspiration for all of us. I would now request Mr. Deepak C. Mehta, Chairman FICCI National Chemical Committee, to kindly do the honors of welcoming and felicitating our honorable chief guest with a green certificate. The Green Certificate is a FICCI initiative wherein a grove of 10 trees will be planted in the Sundarbans National Park, West Bengal, in the name of the Honorable Minister. Thank you very much indeed, and a warm welcome to you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Mehta. I would now request Mr. Prab Das to kindly welcome Our guest of honor, Shri Bhagwant Khubaji, with the Green Certificate. We now welcome our guest of honor, Shri Kudivada Amarnathji, the Honorable Minister from Government of Andhra Pradesh, with the Green Certificate. And we welcome Secretary Chemicals and Petrochemicals, Government of India, Shri Arun Barokaji, with a Green Certificate. Thank you, sir. I would now request Mr. Prab Das, Chairman FICCI, Petrochemicals Committee and MD and CEO HPCL, Mittal Energy Limited, to kindly begin the proceedings with his welcome address. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together to welcome.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Yeah. On the 75th anniversary year of Indian independence, as we celebrate Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav across the country, it is my pleasure to welcome you all to this India Chem 2022. I am truly honored to welcome you, galaxy of industry stalwarts and policymakers, who's who of chemical sector is I can see right in front of me. And you have all played a key role in resurgence of Indian chemical and petrochemical sector, not only in India, but in global arena. Let me extend my warm welcome to our chief guest, Dr. Mansukh Mandaviya ji, Honorable Minister of Health and Family Welfare, Chemical and Fertilizers, Government of India. Sir, under your able leadership and dynamic leadership, our industry is chartering a rapid growth amid global economic challenges. Your vision, practical approach and initiative has enabled us to remain focused and to become self-reliant in chemical and petrochemical products. Let's give him a big hand. Our guest of honor, Shri Bhagwant Khubaji, Honorable Minister of State, Ministry of Chemical and Fertilizer, Ministry of New and Renewable Energy, Government of India. Sir, you have been a constant inspiration to our industry. Your problem-solving approach has been a great support to us. And every time we meet, he asks us, what is your problem? Specifically, tell me, and what exactly I can do. So thank you very much for this India Chem 2022. We have among us Kudivada Amarnathji, Honorable Minister of Industries, Investment, Infrastructure, IT, Electronics, Government of Andhra Pradesh. We are privileged to have you here, sir, and we hope to get benefit from your thoughts and investment in Andhra Pradesh. Thank you, sir. We have our beloved Secretary, Arun Barokaji, Secretary, Department of Chemical and Petrochemical. We are very thankful to you for his unrelenting efforts and leadership skill. He has been in the ministry only for a few weeks, and he has really made a mark in the industry. So thank you very much. Welcome. Mr. Nikhil Meshwani, Executive Director, Reliance Industries, and I consider him is the most knowledgeable person in the industry. And he has been the forefront from the very beginning, and he has really made Indian petrochemical industry on the fast-track growth. So, welcome. Our friend Deepak Mehta ji, Chairman, FICCI National Chemical Committee and MD of Deepak Nitrite. He has always been very helpful and willing to make efforts for the cause of industry. Again, a warm welcome to all delegates and guests. I was wondering why you all are here in such a huge number, house full. Answer is very simple. Answer is very simple. We all see great opportunities, and we are here to take advantage of the opportunity. We see reasons. We are having a country with 6 to 7% growth. We are having a chemical and petrochemical sector growing at 7 to 8%. We have per capita consumption of polymer, which is 1/3 of the world's average, huge potential to grow. We have a country with the largest young population. We are having a rapid urbanization. We are having a largest English-speaking population. All this along with the government support. government is giving great emphasis on infrastructure. Big scheme you have all heard, national infrastructure pipelines. We have initiative on Atmanirbhar Bharat. We have proactive policies where states are competing to get investment. That's the way the government has been asking industries to come and invest. Here we are in this India Chem 2022. This gives us a platform for learning, interaction, forging alliances, and gives us confidence. So let's not miss this opportunity. Because if you miss the opportunity, it is like saying, the first one gets the oyster, the second simply gets the shell. Just a few words on the current focus we are all focusing on is just, we should be concentrating on safety, both personal and process. We are all working for decarbonization. We are working for circular economy. And last not the least, ESG, environment, social, and governance. With these words, once again, I welcome, wish you all the best for India Chem 2022.
Thank you very much indeed, sir, for the warm words of welcome. And ladies and gentlemen, before I invite our next eminent speaker, we would like to inform all our dignitaries that the Honorable Minister has very limited time. He has some pressing commitments. So I would request all our dignitaries from the stage to kindly keep their deliberations to as short as possible. Coming up next, ladies and gentlemen, we would like to inform that BASF is a German multinational company, chemical company, and the largest chemical producer in the world. And may I now invite Dr. Detlef Kratz, President Group Research, BASF, to kindly present the global perspective. So, ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together to welcome him.
So, thank you. Well, thank you very much for the kind introduction. Can you hear me? Better. And I'm really honored to be here, dear Minister, dear distinguished guests, and I guess many colleagues in the chemical industry. I don't think I'm telling you anything new that we are facing extremely challenging times nowadays. And I brought some slides along just to see if I can see them, or are they on the screen? Here they are. As a first slide, I've chosen a visual that I think depicts what it's all about. It's two hands holding our very valuable planet. And the hands actually are our hands. I mean, we as human beings have a lot to do with changing this ecosystem. But at the same hand, and maybe the flip side of the coin is, it's also in our hands through innovation and research to find solutions for the future. And it's also about connectivity, because connecting knowledge across the globe, across regions, is going to be part of the solution. And I'll come to that in a moment. The ultimate thing that we want to do is work on a sustainable future. And I'm not telling you anything new. BASF's purpose statement, I think, is pretty clear. We create chemistry for a sustainable future. And also you, in your branding, corporate branding, will have similar targets. But how is this going to happen? And what are we actually doing to achieve this? And for BASF, at least there are distinct targets. And you'll hear a little bit more about BASF. I'm sorry for that. I use BASF as a proxy for the chemical industry here because we are global. We have a huge portfolio of chemicals. And that's why I think it serves as a proxy. And to make this tangible, we've actually clustered our strategic goals of sustainability into 3 pillars. You see them here. They are all underpinned by distinct actual targets. It's not just wishful thinking, there are numbers behind this. And let me just guide you through these. So let's start with the greenhouse gas emissions. I think we all tend to have net zero greenhouse gas goals, be it in 2050, be it in 2070, be it in 2035. But are they achievable? I mean, can you truly imagine a world in 2050 where not a single ton of greenhouse gas, CO2, is emitted? And we are still feeding the population that is growing. We are still making the many chemistries that we need. If I have asked you to raise your hands, do you believe it? I wonder how many people would say, yep, that's going to come. 2050 is easy. Let's look at 2030. And that's much more tangible. And if you look at the number that is written here for BASF, 25% reduction of our greenhouse gas goals, what does that actually mean? Today we have 22 million tons. That's already quite a lot, scope 1 and 2 emissions. 25% is 6 million tons less in 8 years. It's not quite right, because we also want to grow. We actually need to halve the 20 million to 10. That means our specific carbon footprint goes from 0.6 tons of CO2 per ton of product to 0.3. That's next to nothing. And those of you in the petrochemicals know that making ethylene is already 1 ton. So that would not meet the target. So it's a huge, huge, huge effort we need to do. But at BASF, we're a scientific company. We ask ourselves, well, what are we really going to do? And I'll give you at least an indication of some of the answers. First of all, it's a lot about energy. 50% of the emissions, the 22 million tons I mentioned, are not from chemical origin. They are simply because we use fossil energy as a power and energy source. So if we greenify this, we already have half the target done. So it's an energy topic. We will complement this, obviously, with CO2-free technologies and even CO2 sequestration. But that's in the midterm. On the long term, that's exactly what we need to do. Let me move to the second pillar. It sounds so easy on paper to do a circular economy. I mean, it's a nice pictorial here, but it's highly complex. It's disruptive. Consider that industries now move together. A waste stream of one industry is becoming a raw material of another. That's completely new. Actually, the word waste does not exist in a circular economy. That means it's only raw material, but it means we have to completely reconsider the value chain, not only logistically, but technically, because we force new interfaces and new partnerships. And I like it that chemistry will play a role. Steel and chemistry, refining and chemistry, mobility and chemistry, waste management and chemistry. They all will come together. And that's very disruptive. And the last one. I mean, we're in the chemical industry, and we really have to diligently look at our portfolio. Chemicals are still, by many consumers, seen as dangerous, not helpful. It's rather unfortunate. So it's a lot about how we communicate this and what we do to make sure that the portfolio is consistently looked through and improved. And that's why we have our accelerator products that are deemed better toxicologically, safety-wise, and so on. And there's one overarching, or actually two overarching topics here in these pillars. First one, regulations. Now, countries all across the world are setting higher and higher targets and standards, regulatory targets. And we have to ask ourselves, are they achievable, not just some fuzzy numbers? And I think it's up to us to decide and really have an influence here. I mean, look at the Green Deal in Europe or the Chemical Strategy for Sustainability. Thousands of pages of documentation, and there's more to come with dossiers coming up. Now, don't get me wrong. We need a regulatory framework, but the regulations in the new world have to be simple, they have to be unambiguous, not conflicting, and they have to speed up investments because we really cannot waste time to save the planet. So I'm really asking that regulatory goes into a dialogue with the industry, and it's an industry that has a case to make, to talk and say what is really doable, because doability is part of sustainability. The other one is customers and consumers. You and I, you are asking for more sustainable products. Well, you need the transparency to decide what you are willing to pay for. BASF, for example, has captured this in the product carbon footprint for every single product we make. The customer can choose between one and the other. The one that is more sustainable, maybe slightly dearer, but more sustainable. So this transparency is important in our industry, and we have to get to common ground, not that it's conflicting. That's quite a difficult task, and we need a common consensus here. But let me move on and put this into what I would call the chemical framework. Now, I've titled this chart, "The Chemical Industry Takes the Leftovers." That sounds strange, maybe, but it's the business model we work in. Chemistry has never been the food market or the energy market. Over many years, decades actually, we've taken the leftovers. Like 100 years ago, it was a green economy, it was biomass. Then we move to coal. You see it here on the chart. Then to oil, and currently gas. Why? The reason is very simple. We were looking for carbon atoms and hydrogen atoms on availability, price, but also on the way we use them in the chemical industry. And gas is our most favorite now. Why? Because the stoichiometry is right. If you calculate your product footprint, it's typically 1 carbon and 3 hydrogens, very close to natural gas. That's part of our dilemma, in fact, yeah, that we need so much. BASF's actually footprint is like that. All other molecules are nice, but they give functionality. We need that. So carbon, where does it come from? Hydrogen, where does it come from? And where does the energy come from to convert it? That's the task. And that will be different because we're not allowed to use hydrocarbons anymore. Come back to the waste topic. And I'll focus on the key aspect of this, which is energy. And in my eyes, what we actually do is we convert energy into chemistry. That's why I've used this slogan here, energy is chemistry, and chemistry is energy. Actually, it's functionality. That's the task we do. So if we have abundant energy, we can do most anything, but it has to be renewable. Why? I already mentioned, if we electrify industry, that's choice number 1. Number 2, we will be having to upgrade low-energy feedstocks, waste, off-gases, biomass, even CO2, that will require far, far, far more energy than we can even perceive now, and it has to be renewable. It will be 3 to 4 times as much as today easily. And it makes a lot of sense then that as a company, BASF has decided to strategically change from focus on oil and gas to renewable energy. We've invested with other partners like Vattenfall and Ørsted into wind parks. Here, the largest offshore wind park in the North Sea. And we will need more because it's competing with other industries, mobility, steel, cement, and the like. So the ultimate question, if we want to save the planet, is, well, who gets the most of this? And I use one KPI, also thinking about regulation, to design this. It is the amount of renewable energy per saved ton of CO2. So simple. You don't need any more to prioritize your doing and your investments. Similar to what the US has done now with the IRA, the Inflation Reduction Act. Very simple. That's the way regulation should go, and then we as an industry can work on that. So those were the challenges, and I don't want to stop without talking about some solutions. And please forgive me, I'm responsible for group research at BASF, so I will talk about innovation and research and development. It's the solution, and it's part of the business model that we have to thrive for. I picked a chart, maybe it's a bit provocative. You see here some countries' R&D spending of total industry as a percentage of GDP. Some countries are faring pretty well, putting more and more money into this. It's public and private, by the way, the money shown here. Take Germany, it's around, in actual numbers, 100 billion euros per year. BASF spend in R&D 2 billion, so 2% of this, that's big time. And it's a very profitable business model for us, I have to say. Now, India does not fare well on this chart, I have to say, but I have put this into perspective. The good news is public funding, in fact, is over-proportionally high in India, but industry spending in R&D is rather low. So a message I would like to give, spend more into the future, also as an industry, beef up research. And you have the possibilities. I mean, at BASF, we see this also in the business we do. We have 8 production plants, 2,300 people here. We have sales of 2.3 billion euros. And we have 2 wonderful research laboratories, one in Mumbai and one in Bangalore. And I can tell you one asset that India has is talent, because we are able to scout and look for fantastic talent out of the Indian academic institutions. And I think that is something that is what you can bank on. And one final thought, I think it's clear what we have to do. It's also about the how. In times past, it was individuals, and that's symbolic here, making inventions. Then came maybe industry and academia, take the ammonia process that BASF is renowned for. And even now industries come together, but that's not enough. The complexity of the task is much higher. Regulations, customers, regional aspects, but industry will play a role, and that's why I come back to the hands holding this world, many hands, can contribute to value for our planet. And the innovation ecosystem, I think, needs to be discussed more openly, how we work on this. And I leave you with the good news. The good news is, and it's in the tagline here, for chemistry it's good. The chemical industry will continue to play a leading role as an enabler for sustainability, and I hope I could give you some insights on that. And with that, thank you very much.
Thank you very much indeed, sir, for that informative presentation. And ladies and gentlemen, Reliance is the largest producer of petrochemicals in the country and amongst the top 10 in the world. And I now have the privilege in inviting for the keynote address Mr. Nikhil Meswani, Executive Director, Reliance Industries Limited, to present the Indian industry perspective. And let's put our hands together to welcome him.
Sorry. Short this, it's easier. At the outset, let me wish you all a very good evening. Honorable Minister Dr. Mandaviya ji, Honorable Minister Dr. Khuba ji, Shri Amarnath ji from Andhra Pradesh, our Secretary Shri Arun ji, Mr. Kratz from BSF, my old friend, and of course my esteemed industry colleagues, Prabdas ji and Deepak bhai, distinguished guests, friends, ladies and gentlemen. It gives me great pleasure to be at the inaugural session and address this august gathering of our industry. I am thankful to FICCI's organizing committee for inviting me one more time. Coming immediately after our Festival of Lights, the 12th edition is a marquee event that allows us to interact freely with industry leaders and policymakers to make sure we forge ourselves towards the future and towards our journey of Atmanirbhar Bharat. From a situation of a very VUCA world, volatile, ambiguous and complex, we have now evolved to a Bani world, which is brittle, anxious, non-linear and incomprehensible. Why do I say that? In the aftermath of COVID, we saw the growth shoot up to 6%. Immediately after that, we faced extreme volatility in prices, uncertainty in markets, and supply chain crisis which we never saw. The extreme volatility today has reduced that growth to half at 3%. Surging inflation, high interest rates, high energy price, high food price and high fertilizer price. I went back as a young man in the history to check when has this happened once, and I could not find an example in the last 80 years. So the times are really unprecedented. However, in these times there is a reversal of the role played by developed nations and developing countries. There is one thing certain. Emerging economies, and I mean Asia, will be the key engine of growth in the coming years with the shining star called India. And please, ladies and gentlemen, it is India that will provide the growth and savings to the world. Amidst widespread unpredictability, we stand out as a tall beacon of growth and stability. While the world is grappling with dim forecasts, India is a shining star at 7% GDP growth in this year and being the fastest global growing economy. India has surpassed the UK as the 5th largest economy, and we are driven by strong consumption home markets. Under the strong leadership of our Honorable Prime Minister, Shri Narendra Modi ji, India's well-targeted policy mix, accompanied by structural reforms towards ease of doing business, the motto of reform, perform and transform, and the initiatives of Government of India, apart from ease of doing business in policy, making sure that our outdated laws are phased out, and finally embrace the global best practices is making sure that we surely and steadily mount on this path. We are well on our way to be a global $10 trillion economy sooner than later, and we will be only the third country in the world to achieve it after the United States and China. This is driven by our demographics, our consumption, and our technological capabilities. Real contribution of our chemical industry is like the character of a human man. When we had COVID crisis, India never made a single PPE kit, and we rose to make it at 1/3 the cost of China, not only for the needs of India, but also exported them to the world. Thanks to the inspiring leadership of our minister, Sri Mandaviya ji, India ran a vaccine program which we would have never comprehended for our over 1.2 billion people. And thank you for keeping us safe. And the chemical industry did its part by converting industrial oxygen to medical oxygen, saving thousands of lives daily. Sir, your inspiring leadership and your constant inspiration to drive us, we deeply admire and value your support. It is important to recognize the aspects that industry makes us different from the rest. We are an enabling industry. We are a solution provider. 80,000 products are used from our industry, and 96% of all manufactured products in the world, particularly in India, consume chemicals. I can't comprehend a world without chemicals. Chemicals they cater to extreme diversity range, and they meet every single sector, be it agriculture, food, clothing, transportation, communication, or healthcare. It is vital to our nation's development. We are growing in India in the industry just under double digits at over 9%. We will play a vital role in our mark to achieve $5 trillion economy mark. Our rapid growth will create a fundamental shift in terms of massive urbanization, including 600 million Indians. Their income levels, their aspirations is going to drive the demand for consumption that we have not comprehended. What we did at Reliance in 35 years, we did in the last 5 years. And it is my belief what we have done in this 40 years, we'll have to double and perhaps more than double in the next 10 years. This is the strength and the beacon on which we need to grow in Indian chemical industry. India is the 6th largest producer of chemicals globally, 4th largest in Asia. But our global share is only 3% compared to China's 45% and US's 12%. We export to 175 countries, and the recent initiatives of the government to encourage free trade agreement in a modern framework and make sure they foster cross-border investments is a positive step in this direction. In terms of the key future growth initiatives, expanding outreach and creating a global footprint, reduce dependence on imports to be Atmanirbhar, invest in R&D, extreme digitization, changing our perception from being a polluter to a solution provider, sustainability, and compliance with our environment to leave a better planet for tomorrow are our key challenges. Even though we are home to 1/5 of the world's people, we are a very small contributor to Indian chemical industry. And the opportunity here, if we count commodity chemicals, specialities, and create a manufacturing hub for the world in the One China Plus One initiative, is enormous. It will exceed $500 billion. And if I add fertilizers, it can be double itself. So it is for us to do more for the industry and only seek the government policy initiatives to make sure we grow this rapidly. India is now brought on the quality forefront. The QCO standards are going to make sure that the quality of our materials is better than the best. Sustainability and circularity, oil to chemicals, advanced materials, renewables are our current mega trends. Foremost is sustainability. We need to make sure that we become resource efficient, circular approach, and reduce our carbon footprint. Transforming this is going to add 6 trillion to global economy and is going to add 6 million jobs. It is for us to decide how many of these jobs we create in India and how much of this we contribute as we march as a country towards the $5 to $10 trillion mark. Reusing our materials is something which is imperative in our sustainable journey of growth. We at Reliance have championed this cause in circular economy for many years. Today, we are proud to tell you that we recycle more than 2.5 million bottles and will bolster our capacity to double that at over 5 million bottles, making sure that India has the highest rate of PET recycling globally. We convert this waste into top-class products, into polyesters, and into our Elan green gold fiber, which are now accepted globally everywhere. The world migrated from Stone Age to Oil Age, not because there are no stones and not because there is no oil. From Stone Age and Oil Age, we are going to Silicon Age. And we will still have the sand to make silicon. But the world of tomorrow is going to ask for composites, advanced materials. Why? Because we have Boeing Dreamliner. We need Gorilla Glass for smartphones. We need renewable energy needs. We have hydrogen, battery chemicals, and all of these require our industry to transform from the traditional thinking to a new approach, from a thinking that allows us to develop technology sustainably and also make sure we grow simultaneously. That is the opportunity in front of us. Making sure that we have a product-driven approach, solution-driven approach is the need for tomorrow. And these will address challenges. We are in a different world today. The spirit of globalization lingers on. Each country wants to be self-reliant. The war of Russia and Ukraine has pressed this, and India is no different. Our Honorable Prime Minister, Shri Modi ji's vision of Atmanirbhar Bharat is essential to sustain our high-paced, near double-digit growth rate. It is an opportunity and it is a testimony to his decisive leadership, futuristic policies, and a very stable regime. We will make sure that chemicals are today the second largest item of imports in our trade bill. And it is for all of us to collectively invest and make sure we convert that into an opportunity, a new capex cycle, and convert India to a manufacturing hub and a value-added processing hub. This is both a strategic and an economic rationale to ensure we transform our chemical industry in a sustainable, growing environment. The PLI scheme of government, apart from many other measures, is an extremely positive step in this direction. Our chairman, Mukesh Bhai, always tells me that if we don't embrace sustainability, if we don't create to social value, we cannot change this industry. We are investing over 75,000 crores in this industry today and making sure we double PTA, polyester, and create India's first carbon fiber facility. Friends, chemicals are intrinsic to the path of the future. This sector will unleash to contribute to new opportunities. The path ahead in the world is going to be exciting. Our founder chairman, Dhirubhai Uncle, used to say, our dreams have to be bigger, ambitions higher, commitments deeper, and efforts greater. We really believe that we are in that potential to be a global champion. Our commitment and efforts will make sure we build a stronger India and a transformed Bharat. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed, sir, for sharing with us the Indian industry perspective. And now, ladies and gentlemen, for the sectoral briefings, I have the proud privilege in inviting Secretary Chemicals and Petrochemicals, Ministry of Chemicals and Fertilizers, Government of India, Shri Arun Baroka ji. Let's put our hands together to welcome him.
Honorable Union Minister Dr. Mansukh Mandaviya ji, Honorable Minister Shri Bhagwant Khubha ji, Honorable Minister Shri Gudiwada ji, our distinguished colleagues from states and union territories, dignitaries present on the dais, Shri Deepak Mehta ji, Shri Prabdas ji, then we have Nikhil Meswani ji, Dr. Detlef Kratz. First of all, I welcome you, and on behalf of the department, it's a combined event. As you know, it's a collaborative effort of FICCI, Industry Association, industry as such, as well as the Department of Chemical and Petrochemical. First of all, sir, we would like to inform you that it has been, this particular edition after COVID has been well received, and we have got a very good exhibition as well as participation. I thank all the industry partners who have participated very enthusiastically. From the states also, we have got very good representation. We have good representation from countries abroad also. We have a representation in the form of ambassadors as well as the business partners. I have been given the task for giving the sectoral briefing. I will just use the 4 or 5 slides just to give an idea of what exactly, where do we stand with respect to the vision statement which we have laid for ourselves for this particular India Chemical 22. So what is the vision for us? This is represented in terms of where do we stand and where do we go in future. India is, as you know, that India is slated to be the growth engine of the global economy in the current decade. This graph shows India's position. If you see the top graph, you can see the position with respect to the growth rate. That is important to see. That with respect to other countries, India stands somewhere around 7%. Everyone has been talking about it. Even though the sizes of other countries have been little on the higher side in terms of the GDP size, but the growth rate in India, that's on the high side. And this provides us a very big opportunity. I think we shouldn't be taking advantage of this global opportunity before us. India has also emerged as an attractive investment destination because of the resilience to the global economic swings which have been there and which are mainly due to Indian consumption potential which is there, and also the government's industrial friendly policies. Some of them have been mentioned here. They have also been discussed in detail by Nikhil Bhai ji, and our earlier discussions have also mentioned about that. India is also, in terms of manufacturing, is poised to become a major growth pillar to the Indian economy, which is again aided by government's push towards self-reliance and vision to become a USD 5 trillion economy by 24. India's manufacturing competitiveness is fueled by progressive government policies and some of the facilitating government initiatives which we have started. Some of them are listed here. One of the most important thing is about the stable democracy. Then also government has streamlined the regulatory and tax framework, quality labor and also at competitive cost, and robust investment policies, and also the highly competitive infrastructure which is available in the country. India has improved its global competitiveness ranking by 6 positions in 22. I think the block on the left-hand side, you can see from 43 in 21, we have moved on to 37. In terms of other parameters also, it has improved. Now, looking at the chemical industry per se, it has been a significant contributor to the manufacturing sector as such, and also in the economic growth of India. And what is the contribution of Indian chemical industry? It has already been mentioned many times that it is the second largest manufacturer and exporter of dyes. It is the per capita consumption of chemical products is about 1/10 of the global average. And there are many firsts and seconds for India in the chemical industry sector. Now coming to the growth potential, where do we stand right now and where we can move? I think this is one of the important slides where we can focus a little bit. Presuming the business as usual, let's say a growth rate of, let's say, about 8% or so, we are poised to become about 260 USD by 25. This is an estimate, and also by 30, about 400 USD billion. So this is the scenario which you can presume, and how it projects in terms of the opportunities where the supply-demand gap is there. We can have a look at in the next slide. This provides the opportunities. I think this is one of the most important slides. And you can see all the bubbles on the lower side, they are the supply deficit areas. These are the opportunities which exist in India, where we don't have the production capacity, and there is a big demand there where we can invest. I think this presentation would be available, need not take the photograph. In terms of the outlook of the economy, in terms of the various specialty chemicals, if you want to see, this is the picture. I think you can focus on the extreme right column, which provides rating in terms of the outlook by 24. You can have a look at that. If we presume 2019 as a base, which is on the extreme left side base year column, you can see that the growth which is going to happen by 24 in agrochemicals will be about 19%, about, let's say, 20%. Same way for some other sectors, care and hygiene almost 34%, and iron and steel 33%. So if you see the last column, you will get a very good picture of the outlook of various specialty chemicals and different sub-segments. So what have been the game changers for Indian chemical industry? These have been the policy initiatives. Government has provided enabling policy environment, and some of them are listed here. The most important one is related to the industrial infrastructure. You are aware that we are already having the national infrastructure pipeline. Prabdas ji mentioned in the beginning. Then we have the concept of plastic parks, mega textile parks. Apart from that, apart from PCPIRs, we are also going in for the chemical hubs. There are other factors which have been the game changers, like matters relating to governance and clearances. This is one of the most important. There used to be complaints earlier. Governance has been streamlined. That is indicated by the index improvement in ease of doing business. Regulatory and quality standard, as has been mentioned by Nikhil Bhai also, BIS standards are being made mandatory, and we have identified the areas where we will be investing more in terms of making them mandatory. And in terms of the local manufacturing and exports and innovation, we have come out with the public procurement policies. Revised customs duties are being worked out for many chemicals and petrochemicals, making it more rational, avoiding inverted duty structures. And also we have various export promotion schemes, and FTAs are being signed with various countries. So friends, I'll just stop here. I'll just say that this is a very good time for industry to set up their business in India. This kind of opportunity will never come again. The geopolitical situation in the world is such that we are having very good growth rate. Currently also, it's estimated also to be good. The climate which has been provided by the government, that is very congenial. Government is welcoming the industry to set up the industry here. All the hurdles which are there for the industry, they are being attended to. There has been a constant interaction with the industry also. Our Honorable Minister all the time is pro-industry. He has been indicating to meet the industry in the group as well as one-to-one also. So this way, we are trying to resolve all the issues. I think this is one such forum which is also a step towards that direction. This is the biggest time to invest in India. I invite you and welcome you to invest in India. It is the right time to invest in India. And I once again thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much indeed, sir, for that insightful presentation. And with the kind permission of the Honorable Union Minister, sir, can we invite the Honorable Minister from Andhra Pradesh as he has a flight to catch? So, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together to welcome Shri Gudiwada Amarnathji, Honorable Minister of Industries, Infrastructure, IT and Electronics, Government of Andhra Pradesh, to do the honors of addressing the August House present here. Over to you, sir.
Honorable Chief Guest, Minister for Chemicals and Fertilizers, Sri Mansukh Mandaviya ji, Honorable Minister for State, Sri Bhagavat Kuba ji, distinguished guests on the dais and off the dais, and people from industry, ladies and gentlemen, a warm good evening to all of you. I'll be very short. At a time when India is evolving as a self-reliant nation through the Atmanirbhar campaigns, the theme of India Chem 2022, 12th edition, Vision 2030, Chemicals and Petrochemicals Build India is very apt. I represent the state of Andhra Pradesh, which is in the southern part of the country, and we are the gateway to the country of India. I am pleased to inform you that Andhra Pradesh is home to many renowned chemical and petrochemical industries. Due to its inherent strengths and owing to its strategic location, the state plays a significant role in growth of Indian chemical and petrochemical industry. The production of chemical and petrochemical sector in states has at a USD of almost 11.9 billion in the financial year of 2020-21, contributing to 8% of India's production. The sector has almost 7.3 billion committed investment, employing almost 1,39,000 employees. The exports in chemical and petrochemicals in Andhra Pradesh recorded almost 22% growth with almost $2.1 billion. With a resource base of almost 1,130 million metric tons, the Krishna Godavari River has a maximum number of oil and gas reserves. Andhra Pradesh Petrochemicals and Petrochemical Investment Region, which is the largest in the country, which is almost 640 square kilometers, is notified by the Government of India. The state is home to well-known chemical and petrochemical firms, including HPCL, ONGC, IOCL, Reliance, Grasim Industries, Tata Chemicals, BASF, Deccan Fine Chemicals, Nagarjuna Fertilizers, Coromandel Fertilizers, so on. We have almost the largest full conversion hydrocracker unit of HPCL in Visakhapatnam. It's expanding capacity to 15 million tons by the end of this year. Additionally, one of the world's deepest underground liquefied petroleum gas storage cavern projects has been built near the city of Visakhapatnam. With almost 5,100 plus MSMEs are operating in organic and inorganic chemicals, plastics, specialty chemicals, industrial gases, agrochemicals and fertilizers with a growth rate of almost 12%. The state has certain unique natural advantages which make it the best destination for chemical and petrochemical industries to prosper. Which the previous guests have been mentioning, Andhra Pradesh is #1 in ease of doing business for the third consecutive time, which is a testimonial to the conducive business environment of the state. With the second largest coastline of the country, we have almost 974 kilometer coastline, the closest proximity to petrochemical nations such as Middle East, Asia Pacific and East Asia, with a string of ports equipped with to handle liquid cargo and feedstock supply, making Andhra Pradesh an eastern gateway to India. We are the only state with 3 national industrial corridors, which is the Visakhapatnam-Chennai Industrial Corridor, the Hyderabad-Bangalore Industrial Corridor, and the Bangalore-Chennai Industrial Corridor, and the PCPIR region, which I have just mentioned. We have the 640 square kilometer between Visakhapatnam and Kakinada. Honorable Chief Minister Sri Y.S. Jagannath Reddy Garu committed to port-led industrial development to be able to connect to the hinterland to the global trade networks through our ports, thereby creating seamless logistic corridors. The state is the second mineral storehouse in India, which gives the state an added advantage in terms of raw material availability of the sector. In the PCPI region, Vishakhapatnam and Kakinada, 169-kilometer pipeline is being developed under Kakinada's Srikakulam pipeline natural gas grid to provide clean energy to the industrial sector exclusively for the chemicals and petrochemicals. And at India Chem 2022, we all conclude that there is huge untapped potential in the chemical sector, which is crucial component to reducing import dependence. Through this platform, I wish to inform you that the state government is ready to provide you with all necessary support. We have risk-free land bank under PCPR region at reduced upfront cost of covering 6 SCCs and with 24/7 power and water supply. And I therefore take this opportunity to welcome to the state of Andhra Pradesh, to all the industries to come and explore Andhra Pradesh as a potential partner of growth where abundance meets prosperity, and also visit our state pavilion, which is right across the floor. I once again thank the Ministry of Chemicals and Fertilizers and FICCI for organizing this event. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Thank you very much indeed, sir. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I would request our Honorable Chief Guest, the Honorable Union Minister, to kindly do the honors of releasing the knowledge paper prepared by FICCI and PwC. And for the same, may I invite Mr. Deepak Mahurkar and PwC team to kindly join us on the stage. And please put your hands together on the release of the knowledge paper prepared by FICCI and PwC. We thank the Honorable Union Minister for doing the honors of releasing the knowledge paper. Thank you very much indeed, sir. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I have the proud privilege in inviting our guest of honor, Shri Bhagwant Khobaji, the Honorable Minister of State, Ministry of Chemicals and Fertilizers, and Ministry of New and Renewable Energy, Government of India, to do the honors of addressing the August House present here today. Please put your hands together to welcome our guest of honor.
इंडिया कैम 2022 भारत सरकार के केमिकल एंड फर्टिलाइज़र के विभाग और फिक्की और इंडस्ट्रीज़ मिलकर के 2 दिवसीय जो समावेश है, इसके मुख्य अतिथि और इस कार्यक्रम के उद्घाटक आदरणीय डॉक्टर मनसुख मांडविया जी, आंध्र प्रदेश के इंडस्ट्री मिनिस्टर श्री गुडिवाड़ा जी, फिक्की के प्रभुदास जी, डिटलर जी, निखिल जी, हमारा सचिव अरुण जी और दीपक नाइट्रेट्स के दीपक श्री मेहता जी, और इस कार्यक्रम में उपस्थित सभी उद्योग जगत के मान्यवर और अन्य देश के राजदूत और अधिकारीगण और मीडिया मित्रों, आज की इस उद्घाटन समारोह और कार्यक्रम का व्यवस्था और यहाँ पर आए हुए सभी मान्यवरों का देखते हुए स्पष्ट लग रहा है कि इस समावेश तो यशस्वी हो चुका है, लेकिन इससे ये पता चल रहा है कि भारत एक उभरता हुआ अर्थव्यवस्था देश है और भारत में निवेश करने से हमको बहुत बड़ा इंडस्ट्री का ग्रोथ के लिए खुद को लाभ हो जाएगा, स्पष्ट दिख रहा है। और भारत और विश्व के अंदर केमिकल्स एंड पेट्रोकेमिकल्स का जितने भी प्रोडक्ट्स है, देश की मांग और दुनिया की मांग को ये एकमात्र भारत पूरा उत्पादन करके सभी को दे सकता है, ये स्पष्ट भारत में दिख रहा है। क्योंकि भारत एक युवा देश है और 2037 को भी भारत एक युवा देश रहेगा। कोई भी उद्योग जगत के लिए वहाँ की सरकार की नेतृत्व और नेतृत्व में निर्णय लेने का क्षमता बहुत मायना रखता है। तो आज भारत में गत 8.5 साल से आदरणीय प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र भाई मोदी जी के नेतृत्व में और उनका निर्णय लेने का सामर्थ्य और स्थिर सरकार दुनिया को आज भारत पर और ज़्यादा भरोसा और निवेशों को और ज़्यादा भरोसा भारत पर होने लगा है। और गत 8.5 साल से जो वर्ल्ड कॉम्पिटिटिवनेस जो भी रहता है, उसके साथ में भारत वर्ल्ड क्लास इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर, वो रोडवेज हो, रेलवेज हो, एयरवेज हो या वाटरवेज हो या पोर्ट्स की डेवलपमेंट हो, ये प्रोडक्शन के अंदर कॉम्पिटिटिवनेस लाना और विश्व स्तर पर हमें उसको चुनौती को सामना करके हमें यशस्वी बनाना, ये आज भारत सरकार की सामर्थ्य के कारण ये हो रहा है। आप सभी को अनुभव हो रहा है होगा कि कोरोना महामारी के बाद और यूक्रेन और रसिया का युद्ध चलते हुए भी विश्व के अंदर कितना समस्याओं को सामना करते हुए भारत अपना हित, अपना नागरिकों का हित प्रथम स्थान देते हुए अपना आदरणीय प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी का निर्णय के लिए आज भारत की ग्रोथ जीडीपी अन्य डेवलप्ड कंट्रियों के बराबर नहीं बल्कि दुगनी भारत ने साबित कर चुका है। आज न्यू एंड रिन्यूएबल एनर्जी के अंदर केवल 8.5 साल के अंदर 3 गुना बढ़ोतरी होकर के आने वाला 2030 तक 500 गीगावाट की उसका उत्पादन करने का क्षमता भारत ने विश्व को एक कर सकता है, ये साबित किया है। तो इसी के लिए भारत एकमात्र देश निवेश के लिए, उत्पादन के लिए और भारत सरकार कई पॉलिसीज़ के अंदर इंडस्ट्री फ्रेंडली बना करके और जो उसको सामने करने का जैसे कठिनाई थे उसको सारे कानून और रूल्स को रद्द करके बहुत ही आसान बनाया है। तो आप सभी को इस समावेश में भाग लेने के लिए आपको अभिनंदन और धन्यवाद देते हैं और आने वाला 2 दिन का इस समावेश बहुत ही यशस्वी होगा और आप सभी को फिर से एक बार मेरा अभिनंदन दे करके मेरे 2 बात मैं समाप्त करता हूँ। सबको धन्यवाद।
माननीय मंत्री महोदय जी का हार्दिक धन्यवाद। The Honorable Minister stated that India can take care of the industry of the world, being a country of the young citizens, and investing in the industry in our country will be a good investment for the future. As today you all know, the GDP growth of the country has almost doubled as compared to the other developing countries. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I have the proud privilege in inviting the Honorable Chief Guest, Dr Mansukh Mandaviya ji, the Honorable Union Minister of Chemicals and Fertilizers and Health and Family Welfare, Government of India, for the inaugural address. Let's put our hands together to welcome Honorable Chief Guest.
इंडिया कैम 2022 के इनॉग्रेशन के अवसर पर हमारे बीच उपस्थित मेरे साथी मंत्री श्री भगवंत खुबा जी, हमारे सेक्रेटरी अरुण बरोका जी, निखिल मेशवाणी जी, आज हमारे बीच में विशेष अतिथि के रूप में उपस्थित डॉक्टर डेटलेफ राज, दीपक भाई, प्रभदास जी, सभी उपस्थित इंडस्ट्रीज के प्लेयर, भाइयों एवं बहनों, मुझे जब मैं प्रेजेंटेशन देख रहा था और आप सब स्वयं इंडस्ट्रीज है, दुनिया में केमिकल्स, पेट्रोकेमिकल्स इंडस्ट्रीज का क्या महत्व है, पेट्रोकेमिकल्स और केमिकल्स हमारा जीवन का एक कैसा हिस्सा बन चुका है आज के दिन में, ग्लोबल इंडियन केमिकल्स, पेट्रोकेमिकल्स इंडस्ट्रीज की स्थिति क्या है, दुनिया की ग्लोबल स्थिति क्या है, ये सारे विषय आप सब लोग भली भांति जानते हैं। मैं ऐड करना चाहता हूं कि आज इस इवेंट से हम एक संदेश लेके जाए। दोस्तों, देश बदल रहा है, देश आगे बढ़ रहा है। इंडस्ट्रीज और इंडस्ट्रीज के प्लेयर के संज्ञान में लाना चाहूँगा कि नया भारत का निर्माण हो रहा है। ये देश अभी ट्रेडिशनली नहीं चल रहा है। जिस तरह से देश में इंडस्ट्रीज फ्रेंडली एटमॉस्फेयर गवर्नमेंट की ओर से क्रिएट किया जा रहा है, एक होलिस्टिक अप्रोच के साथ, our government is pro poor, pro farmers, but industries friendly government। हम भली भांति जानते हैं कि कोई देश को अपने देश की जरूरतों को पूरा करना है, रोजगार निर्माण करना है, इंटरनेशनल मार्केट में अपना पैर रखना है, तो ये आवश्यक है कि देश में इंडस्ट्रियल डेवलपमेंट होना चाहिए। और इंडस्ट्रियल डेवलपमेंट होना चाहिए, उसके लिए आवश्यक होता है कि एक इकोसिस्टम क्रिएट करे। और टोकन सोचने से नहीं होता। मोदी गवर्नमेंट की यही विशेषता है, हम कभी टोकन में नहीं सोचते, हम हमेशा टोटल में सोचते हैं। टोटल अप्रोच के साथ काम करके हम देश को कैसे आगे ले जाए, और इंडिया के स्ट्रेंथ और इंडिया के ताकत है, हम कर सकते हैं। इंडिया में ब्रेन पावर और मैन पावर की कभी कमी नहीं थी दोस्तों। मोदी जी ने केवल यही किया है कि उसको पहचाना। मैं आपको एक एग्जाम्पल के तौर पे बताना चाहूंगा, माई सेल्फ होल्डिंग टू हेल्थ मिनिस्ट्री ऑल्सो। मुझे पता है जिस दिन दुनिया में कोविड के वायरस दिखाई दिए और दुनिया में कोविड फैलने लगा, इंडिया में भी कई केस आए, और उस वक्त मोदी जी ने एक मीटिंग हेल्ड की थी और उस वक्त देश के साइंटिस्ट लोग थे, देश के वरिष्ठ ऑफिसर थे, और जब उसकी समीक्षा से हमारे साइंटिस्ट कम्युनिटी ने सुझाव दिया कि उसका सॉल्यूशन वैक्सीन है। और ये भी इतिहास था देश का कि विश्व में कोई जगह पे, कोई कंट्री में वैक्सीन का रिसर्च होता था, बाद में मिनिमम 8 साल और 10 साल 15 साल के बाद वो वैक्सीन इंडिया में आता था। और जो कोविड डिसीज का इलाज वैक्सीन ही है, और वो 8 साल के बाद 10 साल के बाद इंडिया में आएगा, तो 1.3 बिलियन पॉपुलेशन का देश, ह्यूज डाइवर्सिटी वाला देश, हम कैसे मैनेज कर पाएंगे। और मोदी जी ने कहा था कि क्या हम हमारे देश में वैक्सीन मैन्युफैक्चरिंग कर सकते हैं क्या, रिसर्च कर सकते हैं क्या। दोस्तों, मुझे खुशी है कि हमारे देश के साइंटिस्ट ने ये जिम्मा उठाया, हमारे देश की इंडस्ट्रीज ने ये जिम्मा उठाया, और 20 दिसंबर 2020 को दुनिया में फर्स्ट डोज एडमिनिस्टर हुआ, और इंडिया में 16 जनवरी 2021 में इंडियन रिसर्च, इंडियन मैन्युफैक्चरिंग कोविड का फर्स्ट डोज लग चुका था। दोस्तों, इंडिया की स्ट्रेंथ है, इंडिया की ताकत, हम कर सकते हैं। हमारी एक क्षमता है। एक क्षमता को देखते हुए हमें देश में इंडस्ट्रियल ग्रोथ करना है तो क्या करना चाहिए, हमारी पॉलिसी कैसी होनी चाहिए, और होलिस्टिक अप्रोच के साथ हमने पॉलिसी पर काम करना शुरू किया। आत्मनिर्भर भारत का कंसेप्ट के आधार पर मोदी जी ने देश में इंडस्ट्रियल डेवलपमेंट को प्रोत्साहित करने के लिए इनिशिएटिव लिया। आत्मनिर्भर भारत क्या है? हम कुछ इंपोर्ट नहीं करेंगे, ये आत्मनिर्भर भारत की संकल्पना नहीं है, लेकिन देश की क्रिटिकल रिक्वायरमेंट देश ही पूरा करना चाहिए, उसका मैन्युफैक्चरिंग देश में ही होना चाहिए। देश में एक्सपोर्ट इंपोर्ट पर जो अनबैलेंस है, इंपोर्ट ज़्यादा है, एक्सपोर्ट कम है, बाय वैल्यू बाय वॉल्यूम, उसको हम कैसे बैलेंस करें, देश का एक्सपोर्ट भी बढ़े, इंपोर्ट को कैसे हम कम करें, क्या हमारी कमियां हैं जो देश में हम मैन्युफैक्चरिंग नहीं कर सकते हैं, उसके लिए विषय को आइडेंटिफाई करके उसके पर डिटेल वर्कआउट करने के लिए हमने केवल ऑफिस में बैठ के पॉलिसी नहीं बनाई, हमने पीएलआई स्कीम लाए, पीएलआई स्कीम के क्षेत्र को आइडेंटिफाई किया, वो हमने केवल ऑफिस में बैठ के नहीं किया, हमने स्टेक होल्डर कंसल्टेशन किया, इंडस्ट्रीज के साथ बातचीत की, क्या है कमी, क्या आपको मैन्युफैक्चरिंग करना है एपीआई का, केमिकल्स, पेट्रोकेमिकल्स प्रोडक्ट का, क्या करना चाहिए। आप में से सुझाव आया कि क्रिटिकल एपीआई देश में मैन्युफैक्चरिंग करना है तो 20% हम महंगे हैं, तो हम क्या करें, हम पीएलआई स्कीम से उसको 20% इंसेंटिव दे सकते हैं क्या। धीरे धीरे समझ में आए कि क्या ऐसे ही पीएलआई स्कीम हम एपीआई में लाए, वैसे कौन से सेक्टर में ला सकते हैं। धीरे धीरे हम आगे बढ़ते गए और हम केमिकल तक ये विषय को आगे बढ़ा रहे हैं। वैसे ट्रायल सेक्टर को आइडेंटिफाई करके पीएलआई स्कीम लाई गई। पीएलआई स्कीम तो हम लाए, लेकिन पीएलआई स्कीम का बेहतर इंप्लीमेंटेशन के लिए, इकोसिस्टम क्रिएट करने के लिए, ईज ऑफ डूइंग बिजनेस हम देश में कैसे आगे बढ़ाए, हम कंप्लायंस बर्डन कैसे कम करें, हमने एक एक विषय को आइडेंटिफाई किया। विदेश से कोई देश को इन्वेस्ट एफडीआई को आना है तो ऑटोमेटिक रूट कैसे ओपन करें, सारे विषय को, सारे बिंदु को एक के बाद एक हमने देखा और उसके आधार पर देश में पॉलिसी बन रही है, उसके आधार पर डिसीजन हो रहे हैं। और हमने कोई स्कीम को लॉन्च कर दिया, स्कीम बेहतर उसका इंप्लीमेंट नहीं हुआ तो हमने उसको फेल नहीं होने दिया। इंप्लीमेंटेशन में क्या दिक्कत है, कैसा करें, क्या सुझाव है, अनुभव के आधार से क्या सुझाव आया है। फिर रिफॉर्म और ट्रांसफॉर्म, ये हमारी सरकार का नेचर है। ये दो चीजों को लेके डे बाय डे इंडस्ट्रीज के साथ कंसल्टेशन करके हम कैसे आगे बढ़े, ये मंत्र को हमने अपनाया है। केमिकल्स, पेट्रोकेमिकल्स इंडस्ट्रीज का विषय है, तब तक देश में ह्यूज अपॉर्चुनिटी है। दोस्तों, बदलते हुए इस समय में दुनिया आज इन्वेस्टमेंट के लिए बेस्ट डेस्टिनेशन बनता जा रहा है, और जब दुनिया के लिए इंडिया इन्वेस्टमेंट के लिए बेस्ट डेस्टिनेशन है तो मेरे देश के एंटरप्रेन्योर्स, उसकी क्षमता को हम कैसे बाहर लाए, और उसके लिए हमने स्टार्टअप किया। आज देश में यूनिकॉर्न के नंबर बढ़ रहे हैं, दुनिया में सबसे ज्यादा यूनिकॉर्न कोई कंट्री में है, उसका नाम इंडिया है। और हमारे न्यू इनोवेशन के साथ आने वाले हमारे न्यू एंटरप्रेन्योर्स, वो कैसे आगे बढ़े, वो इंडस्ट्रीज के साथ कोलैबोरेशन करके कॉमर्शलाइज, अपना इनोवेशन को कॉमर्शलाइज करने के लिए गवर्नमेंट का क्या सहयोग की आवश्यकता है। और कोई इनोवेशन है, स्टार्टअप है, तो देश की गवर्नमेंट की प्रोक्योरमेंट में उसको प्रायोरिटी कैसे मिले। दोस्तों, मुझे पता है मैं पहले शिपिंग मिनिस्ट्री देख रहा था। जब कोविड क्राइसिस में हमने फील किया, कंटेनर की क्राइसिस हो गई, एक्सपोर्ट इंपोर्ट पर उसकी इफेक्ट आने लगी। हमारे पास ऑर्डर थे लेकिन कंटेनर नहीं थे, आप सब लोगों ने देखा होगा। और उस वक्त देश की रिक्वायरमेंट प्रति वर्ष 5-6 लाख कंटेनर की है और 95% कंटेनर एक ही कंट्री मैन्युफैक्चरिंग करता हो। इंडिया में तो उसका मैन्युफैक्चरिंग होता ही ना हो। इंडिया नहीं कर सकता क्या? मैंने कई इंडस्ट्रीज के प्लेयर को बुलाया, उसके साथ मीटिंग की। मैंने कहा करिए, और देखो दोस्तों हमारे एंटरप्रेन्योर्स में क्या विजन है, क्या क्षमता है, क्या भरोसा है सरकार पर। मैंने तो केवल बोल दिया था कि आप करिए, इस विषय पर देश की डिमांड है, और कई एंटरप्रेन्योर्स ने उसके ऊपर काम करना शुरू किया। आज मुझे खुशी है, गुजरात के भावनगर में एक इकोसिस्टम बनने लगी। एक कंटेनर मैन्युफैक्चरर्स पर डे 200 कंटेनर बनाए, उसके लिए प्लांट का इनॉग्रेशन प्रधानमंत्री जी ने कर दिया। और देश में 10,000 कंटेनर के लिए एक टेंडर निकला कोंकर का, और उन्होंने कॉट किया, वो L1 आया और 10,000 कंटेनर इंडिजिनियस बना के हमारे रेलवे मंत्रालय को देंगे। दोस्तों केवल 7 महीने में हमारे देश के एंटरप्रेन्योर से कर सकते हैं। भविष्य में हमारी इंडस्ट्रीज डेवलपमेंट के लिए, पेट्रोकेमिकल्स, केमिकल्स इंडस्ट्रीज के लिए जो देश में अपॉर्चुनिटी ओपन हो रही है, नहीं हम केवल इंडस्ट्रीज पर छोड़ते हैं। इंडस्ट्रीज बॉडी के साथ बैठ के, एनवायरनमेंट के साथ इश्यू है, चलिए कंसल्टेशन करें। हमें इंडस्ट्रीज पार्क बनाना है, जीरो डिस्चार्ज की ओर जाना है, डीप सी डिस्चार्ज के लिए व्यवस्था करना है। क्या करना चाहिए? सरकार क्या कर सकती है? दोस्तों गवर्नमेंट इंडस्ट्रीज के साथ हाथ से हाथ मिला के काम करना चाहती है। हम इंडस्ट्रीज को हर संभव मदद करके इंडस्ट्रीज देश में कैसे आगे बढ़े, उसका इश्यू कैसे रिजॉल्व हो, ताकि देश में निवेश बढ़े, इन्वेस्टमेंट बढ़े। इंडिजिनियस यहाँ दोस्तों 1.3 बिलियन पॉपुलेशन इंडिया का है, इमर्जिंग इकोनॉमी है, मिडिल क्लास बढ़ रहा है। दुनिया का मार्केट की तो बात की बात है, इंडिया ही इतना बड़ा मार्केट है, दुनिया इंडिया का मार्केट देख रही है। सवाल है, यहाँ 2 व्यवस्था बहुत अच्छी है, इसलिए इंडिया इंटरनेशनल इंडस्ट्रीज कम्युनिटी के लिए, इन्वेस्टमेंट के लिए बेस्ट डेस्टिनेशन बन रहा है। दोस्तों हमारे यहाँ दुनिया की ओल्डेस्ट और बिगेस्ट डेमोक्रेसी है और बेस्ट जुडिशरी सिस्टम है। यहाँ जुडिशरी, यू आर फॉरेन कंपनी, यू आर इंडियन कंपनी, इस दायरे में नहीं देखते हैं। और जुडिशरी गिविंग टू जस्टिस ऑन बेस ऑफ मेरिट। दुनिया ये सब विषय को देख रही है और इसलिए इंडिया आज के दिन में इन्वेस्टमेंट के लिए बेस्ट डेस्टिनेशन के रूप में उभर रहा है। आप सब इंडस्ट्रियलिस्ट के लिए बेस्ट अपॉर्चुनिटी है। देश में स्ट्रॉन्ग लीडरशिप है, बेस्ट इकोसिस्टम क्रिएट हो रही है, ईज ऑफ डूइंग को हम बढ़ावा दे रहे हैं, कंप्लायंस बर्डन को हम कम करते जा रहे हैं और इंडस्ट्रीज कंसल्टेशन के साथ हम पॉलिसी का रिफॉर्म कर रहे हैं। आइए हम सब लोग गवर्नमेंट के इस इनिशिएटिव के साथ जुड़ के आप स्वयं की इंडस्ट्रीज को आगे बढ़ा के आप अपना मैन्युफैक्चरिंग बढ़ाइए, आप अपना इन्वेस्टमेंट करिए और प्रधानमंत्री जी की सोच का नया भारत के निर्माण में हम सब लोग साथ में मिलके एक सामूहिक प्रयास करें, यही अपेक्षा है। धन्यवाद।
माननीय मंत्री महोदय जी का हार्दिक धन्यवाद. Ladies and gentlemen, we thank the Honorable Minister for sparing his valuable time and for his motivational address. And now for the words of thanks, may I invite Mr. Deepak C. Mehta, Chairman, FICCI National Chemical Committee and Chairman and Managing Director, Deepak Nitrite Limited.
Dr. Mansukh Mandaviya, Honorable Union Minister for Chemicals and Petrochemicals and Fertilizers, Honorable Shri Bhagwant Khubaji, Minister of State for Ministry of Chemicals and Fertilizers, Shri Arun Borakaji, Secretary Chemicals, Dr. Dieter Katz, Nikhil Bhai Meswani ji, Prabdas ji, and friends. A few years back, almost about 10 years back,